All right, this is my first video to put on YouTube, because I really don't like doing that. But anyway, I think people need to know how to do this technique. So now I'm going to reverse the camera and try to show you, hopefully in as little time as possible. Well, I can't reverse
These
the
are
camera.
stitch lines. They're not called stitch lines in Cricut. We're in Cricut Design Space. We were trying to get stitch lines. These are actual score lines. If I ungroup, let's see, I have to detach, and then I'm going to have to detach again to show you. But these are actual individual score lines that I made. I'm going to make some so I can show you what I'm talking about. Score line. I'm going to make the score line. I'm going to shrink it up. So you can make it whatever size you want. That's one score line. And then I'm going to duplicate it. Now I'm sure there's probably a much faster way to do this, and I'm sure somebody can tell me how, but this is how I did it. All right, then I'm going to group them all together and go to align left, so it puts them all in a row. Then I have to attach them so they're no longer individual lines, but they are a group of lines. Now we did this with these, trying to see if it would actually work and if Cricut would cut stitch lines, and it did. So we wanted to show this so that if you were looking for stitch lines in Cricut, I may have said Silhouette, I'm sorry. Silhouette does a great job. They put in stitch lines, it actually cuts as stitch lines. Cricut would not. So this is the score line multiplied to make it stitch lines, and it did cut all of these exactly how we had them. Now if you wanted to have this, you could take this, you could duplicate it again if you wanted them to be longer. If you wanted to have some horizontal, some vertical, you can take it and turn it like so and make more of those. Duplicate it again. And then I'm going to take these and attach. In case you didn't know where attach is, it is right here. They're now attached. So I have some horizontal lines and some vertical lines, and rather than me move these, I'm going to move that one. I'm going to take this and I want it to align left. Now I have an extra line in there, but I'll just put it down here. Gather them all together again and do a line left. So then I have, that one's got to go down. Okay, to have it spaced out. Now, I don't have them perfect. You work on them, do them the way you want, but then you have this. You can duplicate that, bring it to the bottom, duplicate this. Well, I gotta have to group all these together. Attach. And then duplicate it and move it over here. And now I have a stitched rectangle. Now I can save this file and call it stitches, and then when I want to bring in stitches to another project, I just come over here and grab whichever stitches I want and copy it and bring it into a new project. That way I have it already saved and I can use it again. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry for the whatever. Enjoy. This was using Cricut to make score lines that actually did cut as score lines. Let me find that paper and I'll show you if you can see it real well. These are the score lines that I originally made, and we cut this with the Cricut, and you can see, yeah, they're score lines, but they did cut as stitch lines, because I forgot to tell you, you change the score line to a cut after you get it made. Let me show you that again in Cricut.
Okay.
Now I told you that you have to come over here and you have to change this. Oh, now it's all attached. I don't know that I can. Let's see here. Maybe I can. Okay, here, see it says score line. Instead, I want to turn it to a cut line. So now this will cut, because now it shows as a cut instead of a score. Okay, enjoy. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see how we made these. I hope you enjoy. Thanks. Lines out of score lines using the Cricut. We make the score line, we shorten it, we're going to duplicate it several times, then we're going to align it to the left. It'll be coming up here. This is our attempt at making stitch lines in the Cricut. Silhouette does a really good job of supplying you a stitch line. Cricut does not, so we had to learn how to make our own. If you know how, a better way, please let us know. Cricut couldn't help us other than, possibly making duplicate score lines, and then we're going to change those to a basic cut at the end. And then here we're just aligning these two lines, line top. Then we're going to make a duplicate. We're going to rotate it. Flip doesn't work. So we're going to undo. You can do it this way, or you can type the number in. Under rotate to make it exact. Now our line's too short, so we have to detach that line now to add an additional score mark, which we're going to turn into stitch lines. And you have to remember to reattach it to keep everything together when you actually go to cut. Because in Cricut, if you don't put it together, then it does some really funny things. Now we have our box. Or a stitch frame. And you can change it to any size you want. So I did copy and paste that time. I could have done duplicate. This is stretching it out because you can. Now we're going to attach that so that our box stays together as a stitched box or frame. Now we're just duplicating the line again, the stitch line, to show that you can duplicate it and resize it to get different size stitches.
You can also rotate the lines, which we're about to do, just to show that you can do it vertical or horizontal. You can resize them, you can do whatever you need to with them. Sorry this video is kind of long, but I just didn't want to leave anything out. I wanted to make sure that everyone could see that they can change things up as they need to. If you're even interested in making stitch lines using the Cricut. We did. We wanted to, so we learned how. Here we're showing that if you stretch out the line, you can do like a small line, 2 wider lines, making a pattern. I didn't intentionally know that I had done that, but it worked out that way, so yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. If you found this video helpful, you can like and subscribe. Send us a message. Let us know what you think. If you know of a different way, please let us know that. If you have any questions, something you would like to learn how to do in Cricut or Silhouette, you can also leave that. I generally do more in Silhouette than I do in Cricut, but I like to learn new things. Just making sure that we always save our files. That way you can come back to it whenever you need to. Or you can copy and paste. Copy your lines from one file to use in a different file so that you have them available and you don't have to sit there and make a bunch of new score lines to make them into stitch lines. And then you have to change it to basic cut off of score lines, because otherwise they're not going to cut. It would only score and ask for the score tool. As you can see, each one of them has been changed to basic cut instead of score. And it does cut just the lines. Thank you for watching.